Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, and everybody in between.
It is 8:30 in Vienna, which means it's time for...
It should be about something. That is right.
Today, it is episode number 61.
It is episode number 61.
Today's date is the 3rd of February, 2022.
Is it really? The 3rd of February?
0302-2022.
0302-2022.
Verena posted 0202-2020 yesterday.
Yeah,
Kinda
and
like
soon
that.
it's going to be 0222-2022. And in America, it would be 2202-2022.
We should make a song out of that. I think
2022-2022-2022-2022. So thank you all for joining us here tonight. If you haven't gotten onto the chat to say hi, please do. It's a super fun group we got here, and we're going to say hi to y'all in a second. But before we do that, I want to know, Michael, how was your week? Oh, you got me. Let's say it first. How was your week? Let us know in the chat, or just say hi, or, hang out. Whatevs. It's all good. How was your week? How was my week? You asked first.
No,
I'm
I
going to
think you
tell
asked first. I interrupted you.
You did a good job of trying to do that.
When I posted, it's been a busy week yesterday.
Yes.
I knew exactly what I was going to
Get into Yeah.
about this week.
Yeah.
But like a ton of shit's happened since yesterday again.
Right.
So yeah, it's like super busy. Like basically, this is what my week is. The past 2 weeks have been is like getting up early for my circumstances,
Yes.
and then
Which let's admit, just it's not an easy thing for you to get up early. I mean, it's not your druthers.
no,
Right.
not really.
You did not get into the job of being an actor
to get
up early in the morning.
No, I don't even like being an actor in the morning.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I hear you.
Those early morning shoots, not my thing.
Just-
If I'm getting paid well.
Well, that's the whole point, right? I don't get paid for that work. I get paid to sit around and to be somewhere at a
my convenience.
ungodly hour. That's what you're paying for, is to get me out of bed and to have me sit around.
Right.
Now, that being said, I just wanted to underline that because it's a big thing. So good on you.
I'm not getting up that early though.
Okay.
It's not that early that it's painful, but because there's like a lot of physical labor involved. I'm carrying furniture up and carrying furniture down, getting rid of furniture. Like we're giving things away.
I haven't
on
gotten any
Wilhelm,
of these
like
things yet.
Free things.
Oh, okay.
Like,
How is that for you?
It's so cool.
Do people come and get it?
Yeah.
Even if it's free, they don't come and be like,
Well, there was somebody who was a little bit weird last week, but today, like I cleared out this little cupboard thing little office cupboard that we had, and I think we bought it on a sale in a box. It was like one of those things you build together yourself,
Right.
And a sale, one of those basket sale things at Hofer.
okay,
I think it
yeah.
was down from 85 to like 35 euros, and I was like, we need something to put office crap in. I'm going to take this home. I
Right.
took it home. I assembled it, and we both looked at it and like, this is a piece of shit.
What were we thinking?
What were we thinking?
Oh, hopefully you did it
But
again.
we've used it for 8 years, and it stood up. It's very shaky. It's
So
like-
it sucks. You hated it from the beginning, but it's stuck around for 8 years. I've been in that
we
relationship.
crammed all our stuff in there, and then was like, well, fine.
Yeah.
And today, I got all of it out because I already moved it out of the office, and it was
Right.
standing. It was in the way. I walked into it several times late at night when I was thinking. Because I walked down the hall.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt your story,
My
but
mic
I'm
is
gonna.
not loud enough. Yeah. Okay. Is this better? This should actually be better.
Thanks, bud.
So it was standing in the hallway,
Yeah.
and at night I kind of walked down the hallway with my left hand against the wall,
Right.
forgetting, of course, that this fucking piece of furniture is in there. And I shinned myself a couple of times. And today I cleared out all of it and I stuck it in the stairwell.
Right.
And Christina put it on Wilhaben, and like 20 minutes later, 9 people were like, "We're coming to pick it up." So it's gone. Somebody's already come and picked it up.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so-
The system works.
Yeah.
Good job.
There was one thing, a pair of shoes, and
Were they baby shoes, never worn?
no.
Sorry, having everything.
The lady's like, yeah, she wants to come and pick up these shoes, right?
Yeah.
So he rings the doorbell, and Christina opens, and then like nothing happens for a while, a couple of minutes. Doorbell rings again. She can't find our apartment,
Right?
but there's only one stairwell. There's only one building. Like you can't get. There's no way you can lose. So. Like there's only, so she explains, there's only one stairwell, there's only one building, there's no way you cannot find us.
Right.
Like, minutes pass, doorbell rings again. No, she's in a hurry, she's got a termine to go to. Would Christina mind coming down? And she's like, nope, I'm not doing that. And then minutes pass, and then the doorbell rings. Hello? Nothing. A couple of minutes later, the doorbell rings again, and she's finally made it up to the 6th floor and to collect the shoes. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was weird,
Yeah.
but everything else has been really good.
Well worth it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. Christina even sold some stuff like for money.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like for cash.
That is great.
Yeah.
The system works.
System works. So yeah, things are kind of looking up. I can see the carpet again in the living room, which is really nice. it was just this minefield
a
of tools
sea
and
of
shit.
stuff.
And, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, light at the end of the tunnel.
I like it.
Yeah. And my personal best
Yes.
is I've repurposed my old wardrobe as the baby changing wardrobe. 'Cause it's,
Oh, right.
It's nice and high and it's really wide and big, right?
Got ergodynamic.
But it was made by my great-great-grandfather
Holy cow. Wait, this piece of furniture
Yeah.
in your home
in my home.
was made by your great
Yeah.
grandfather.
Yeah. In
When-
1896, there's a date in it.
Dang. Nice.
So I kind of inherited from my gran, and it's been through several moves, and it's got like chips and dings and the furnier. What's a furnier in English?
The lamination.
The laminate is coming off
Yeah.
on one corner, right? I'm thinking, okay, so maybe I should fix this.
Mm-hmm.
So I glued it down, and then I was like, well, maybe I could put some varnish on it. And I put some varnish on it, and then I was like, 3 days later,
Like this story.
I'd
No, sorry.
through an almost total restoration of the wardrobe.
Okay.
But the varnish job on the surface is so that when you close your eyes and you move your hand over the top, it is silky smooth.
Ooh. It's like you're not touching
silky
nothing.
smooth.
Oh.
You gotta come to my house now and touch the top of that wardrobe. It's so nice. So yeah, how was your week?
Sorry, I'm
You're thinking
still
of silky
thinking
smooth.
about the silky smoothness.
Yeah, you gotta think baby's bottom and then some. That's how smooth it is.
Wow. Not enough O's in the word smooth to describe this.
Smooth.
Is it smooth like with a V at the end?
Yeah.
Smooth. It ain't smooth. It's smooth. Nice. My week was pretty good. Got a haircut. Thanks for noticing.
I did not notice.
No, you didn't.
It's not a
notice.
very good haircut.
I got it today. Thanks.
Did you get it in the mail?
Signed for it and everything. COD, charged on delivery. And I signed
where'd you
for it. I went to, the Bulgarian boys, the Kurdish kids.
I'm
And
happy with it. It's like got a thing sticking out on the side and it's very short over here.
Yeah. I have to admit, of the last four, this is in number 4 place. And it was also the 4th dude.
Oh.
So, because every time I
So
come
it's
in.
always a different dude.
It's always been a different
You're
dude.
talking about clip or snip.
Schick.
Chic. Yeah.
Schick. And the dude before, he did a really great job. Yeah, this one's okay. And this guy, he did my beard and he kind of like moved in on my mustache. Do you notice that?
Mm-hmm. You did.
It's like he kind of,
Yeah.
check it, kind of shaped my. It's a little weird, but
Yeah.
what else?
It feels like you should have taken a bit off from under the nose just to make that work, but it would make it work less.
Yeah, yeah, and this side is a little shorter than this side.
There's certain things you should just not mess with.
Yeah, he was not on his A game today.
This is why I always like getting the same guy.
Well, I hear you, but I think now, since I've had each of them, I'm going to come in, I'm going to be like, hey, can I get
you?
Yeah. I mean, I feel a little bad because, the dude's probably going to be standing there like, hey, I'm up next. Here's my... Okay, sit down. But maybe it's part of the culture. I don't know.
No, I think it is.
I think it has to be.
But I think there's always that rivalry between the barbers. Like when I walk into my barber shop and there's another guy there, I'll still walk in and go, when are you free? And I'll point to my guy. Like, I just ignore the other guy.
Yeah.
Like the other guy will be like, hey, no.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, you're ready.
Alternatively, I could also just never go there again because I would die of embarrassment trying to, I don't know, something like that stresses me out. I don't know if it's that weird innate need of wanting people to like me.
Yeah.
Probably. And just not wanting to hurt somebody's feelings.
The guy you choose is going to like you.
Yeah. Way more than the guy who I don't choose. So maybe it balances out.
Yeah, probably.
It goes back to neutral where nobody actually cares about me anyway at the end of the day, which is nice.
I don't think the universe works that way.
You don't think the universe works?
No, not the hair cutting universe. The hair cutting universe definitely has a lopsided tendency.
The haircutting universe, okay. I just know, like, I used to go to really expensive places, and often it was a lot of women that would do it, and I remember, jealousies, and like, hey, did you go to see somebody else? Like, I would go on tour and get my haircut, and I would come back to this, and I'd be like,
ladies are like that.
But I don't want to say it's just ladies. I'm just associating it because they happen to be. But I also had a friend of mine, a dude who was a little.
Was he really?
A little.
Like I get that from my Augustine Verkäuferin.
Oh.
Like if I buy an Augustine from anybody else, she gives me hell.
Yeah.
But I buy it from a couple of people actually. And I said, I've already bought that.
Yeah.
Sorry, and he's like, and all of the dudes are like, next time.
Yeah.
But she's like,
okay.
she
right.
really let me have it last time. I was like, I already bought it from this guy, and she was, where did you buy it? Why did you buy it? Why? Who is this? You always buy from me. Why are you buying? And
Tell me your name. Tell me their name. Tell me their name. Where do they work? I'm going to go down to their office.
And she just wouldn't let it leave. Just leave it alone. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll have a calendar. So 2022nd is the year I have the most calendars.
You've got all the calendars.
I've got all the calendars.
All the calendars.
I have a calendar. Would you like a calendar?
Yeah, I'd love
like
a
desktop calendar.
No, thank you. I do want to, however, take a look at the chat and say hi to all these folks. Follower of Clay in the house and Verena. Hello, Verena. We got Christina. We got Monica.
We got Philly Girl 1000, who's having like bad weather in Kentucky.
Yeah, there's all kinds of weather in the north of America right now.
I should be in glasses, not on roads. Yes, and don't pour vodka on the street either.
Nayla in the house.
Yes.
Dan
you
B.
made it after weeks.
Hello, sweetness. There's Father of Clay again, and Marcos in the house.
Verena's, what's your week? You had a sick week? Day 5
no.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Day 10 of being sick and day 11 of being in a... So you're slurping, so you're better, but it's like...
That's a pain in the butt. I mean, it comes for us all, Mary Agnes. It comes for us all.
Well,
I hope you're on the mend, Verena. Yes. We hope you're on the mend.
Yes, and we hope it's like this mild.
Yeah.
This mild.
Like the mildests.
Yeah.
Dan B, we said Ethan in the house.
Snowed in?
In Texas, snowed in. And that's who we got. And Pavlov's dog. Hello.
Now I can join after dinner.
Perfect.
Oh, you had dinner.
Excellent.
When do you have dinner on Thursdays?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Well, I mean, I guess of late I have been eating. I haven't been eating like after 3.
Oh,
kind of
are
been-
you on a new dietary mission?
No.
Are you experimenting with yourself again?
Maybe a little bit.
Self-experimentation.
I wasn't actually anything conscious. It was just I noticed that that's what was happening, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm just gonna
You're
roll with
rolling
this
with
for this for a while. Yeah.
You don't get hungry, like late at night.
No.
It's
not
kind of like it's a little
generally.
bit of it's sort of like reverse intermittent fasting.
Well, no, it would definitely be considered intermittent fasting because I'm eating from the time I wake up. So I'm probably eating from
1:30
9.
to 3 is when you eat,
Yeah.
and then you don't eat.
It's a hard 1:23 split on the old
You're trying to
IF.
All your calories in between 1:30 and
Yeah, and then I'm going to move some weight. Got my IF rolling. No, yeah. But if it is, I mean, so it's like 9 to 3. It's like 6 hours. It's like a simple, it's a
Yeah, cool.
6-18 split. It's
Okay,
not
good.
that bad. But I hadn't been really that conscious about it until you actually asked. But yeah, that's what I'm rolling with at the moment.
Well, yes, Verena, I'm glad you didn't break anything either.
Absolutely.
Please try not to. Also, not the glass you're drinking from. That would be the worst, especially during this show.
I don't know what's happening. Michael,
Yeah.
speaking of slurps, I think we should have one.
Dang, it's like...
I've been doing it just sort of on the sly here.
We're 15 minutes into the show and we haven't had to drink it.
Yeah.
I'm drinking beer today.
I saw
Yum.
that. I saw you drinking.
Yum.
You guys.
So-
What kind of beer is that, Michael?
This is Gosam Madsen.
Is that like a go-to beer for you?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, definitely. It's like, I think pretty much my favorite Austrian beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gut,
It's also the most available one.
besser, Gösser. We could.
I like the green font. It's kind of calming and
We could review beer, but that would be terrible because
Well, then-
every beer, it would just, I hate every beer.
there's lots of beer that I hate too.
Oh.
So we perhaps no, I think this is a good idea though.
It is not a good idea at all
I
because
don't think we should review things that no. But yes, there's an idea here somewhere. And no, it's not only about drinking on the show. This show is not about drinking. It's a show that's about something while we drink.
slurp, slurp, everybody. So, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, It Should Be About Something is a show that we do in 3 parts, and we call those parts chapters. And this is chapter number 1. On thinking outside the box. Now, this Isbaz is a little different than some of the past Isbazes because Michael is solely responsible for all of our chapters tonight. So, Michael, clue me in. What's happening on this chapter number 1?
I got some fizz stuck in my throat.
While Michael is dealing with his technical difficulty, I would like to remind everyone in the audience that I am speaking unnaturally slow. I don't know why I was talking like that. That was really weird. Yeah, how you doing, buddy? Check it out, chapter 1.
You just did it again.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind us.
Yeah, thinking outside the box. So, because we were talking about, I would come up with some chapters for this.
Yes.
And I was...
You were.
I
Indeed.
think it had something to do with all the work that's been going on at home and fixing up the apartment and stuff.
Okay.
And I realized that there's some times when it's very easy for me to think outside the box, and there's some times where I'm, and it's topics, so it's things, right? It's regions of my brain. Some
Right.
regions of my brain like working outside the box, and there are others that don't. And oh yes, it was a. I think I might have. maybe I can't remember whether this was the thing that triggered it, or whether this was one of the things that I remembered once I went down this path of thought.
Okay.
So I remember when I was 7 or 8 years old, I was talking to my friend Gregory, and we were talking about hands or something. I can't imagine, I can't even remember exactly how we got to this. And we were talking about fingernails, and I said, well, it would be much more practical for human beings not to have fingernails because then we wouldn't have to cut them all the time.
Right.
And his reaction was, that's a completely ridiculous idea. Why would you even think that? And I was, well, like, I mean, it's a pain in the ass. You're climbing the tree and you're outside and it gets torn and it gets stuck somewhere and you hurt yourself. If you didn't have fingernails,
Yeah.
if there was just meat and skin that you could grab onto things with,
Yeah.
then that might be better.
Right.
But he was not willing to even consider the idea. He was like, no, this is the box that humans are in.
Right.
This is what their fingers look like. There is no discussion here.
Right.
We wouldn't even enter into the possibilities that would arise if you didn't have fingernails.
Right. Right. Didn't want to do that what if question.
Absolutely not.
Right. So okay, I want to put...
And I found myself in exactly that kind of situation quite often in my life, where I'll be saying something and then I'll throw a curveball like that. And the reaction that I'll get is, oh no, that can't be done, or that's a complete load of bullshit. Also with more practical things than people not having fingernails.
Right.
I don't have an example for it now.
Well, okay. So they say, where does this whole idea come from, right? The idea of you got to think outside the box. Meaning, the idea is you want to be trying to attack a problem in an unnormal way, right? So the box meaning what we're expecting, and
or what our experience is
right.
of solving
and so you want to try to
particular
think
kind of
out
problem.
right. And it's always about thinking outside the box. Now, I have a problem with this phrase just a little bit.
Right.
Because I really think most of the time you want to be in the box. Most of it
Because
is
yeah,
in
are you interpreting the box as the page, like you want to be on the page?
I suppose so.
Because I think these are two very, very different things.
Ideas.
And I do completely agree with you.
Okay. My point is that when you're in that situation where you throw a curveball and you are met with blank stares, it's because you were perhaps too far outside of the box. Now, your box might just happen to be bigger and you were just outside of the box for you, but for other people, because their boxes might be smaller than yours, it's way outside the box, and so you get the, and that's why I want to challenge the idea of the box,
Right.
and think of it more along the lines of like Johnston's circle of expectation. That idea of the circle of expectation, what it would be in the box. So, classic example of this, I'm going to ask you, what would you expect to find in the woods?
Trees,
Great, what else?
wild boar,
Yeah, what else?
poison ivy,
Sure, what else?
deer,
Yeah.
hikers,
What about
crashed planes.
or like a rusty dishwasher left
Sure.
out. Yeah, okay. What about witches? Elves?
Depends on the realm.
Okay. But you could expect those in a wood.
Like if that's the story I was telling, yes.
Yeah, okay, but we're just talking about the woods now. So my point
Yes,
is...
probably.
Right.
Sure.
So the point here being that our circle of expectation, what we are expecting from the thing, is often we think of as rather small. But then something can show up that's slightly outside of that circle and make that circle even bigger.
Right.
And so, yes, thinking outside the box, but sometimes it's just you're obvious. What is obvious to you is what is just outside of the box that has just been prepared. And since it's constantly in motion, I think it's that, again, not to get dichotomatic, but
Dichotismal.
not to be dichotismal, but it's always at the same time you're doing both things. You are understanding what the box is by being inside of it, but making the box bigger by looking just outside of it, even though that act of looking outside of it isn't necessarily an active act. It can also just be a passive thing, because what you thought was already in the box is now for other people a beginning of the circle. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. So I
making-
think there
yeah.
are times and places to be thinking outside of the box. You know, if you...
Yeah, I think, so you mentioned being on the same page, right? And like a lot of my experience as an improviser, and I
Right.
think this is an experience that we have had together.
Yes.
Maybe we haven't explained it this way before, but it's like sometimes you're improvising with people and you're just not getting on the same page.
Right.
Right? And that might not be true. They're on the page according to their experience or their interpretation of what they're doing. So you might be on the page, but the box you're using for the page is smaller than the box that other people are using for the page.
Yeah.
So we've walked off stage a couple of times after shows and gone, it was just like we could not get on the same page. No matter what we did, it just never. It was always met with some kind of misunderstanding or always at odds. Right?
Not in the groove.
So not
in the pocket. Not.
Yeah.
I want to be on the smooth.
Yes, yeah.
But this ain't smooth.
So you might even be on the page.
Right.
You might even think you're telling the same story. But if the box you're using for the forest incorporates magic, and everybody else's box does not incorporate magic,
Right.
then you're going to be outside the box if you're
Yeah.
coming in with witches and elves.
Right. And that's why.
So because you challenged me there in that moment, because you said woods, and I was thinking like, okay, realistic woods.
Yeah.
Fine. And crashed planes are realistically in real woods. But
Sure.
I mean, there's no such thing as witches and goblins. But there are stories of witches and goblins. So if we're telling a story, or if we're just thinking about the woods in
what
general,
one would expect in a wood.
What do we culturally expect from woods as
Exactly.
well, not just from what are woods?
Yeah.
Right. So that made my box bigger.
Right.
Even though I was on the page about what's in the woods.
Exactly. So I think there's a time and place to think in the box or to be thinking outside of the box. But the whole point, I'm going to go with this right now, is that you should be thinking about the box, because the box is the context that we've
You
created.
should be thinking about the page.
The page is important.
box
The page is
applies.
important for the communal work, in that sense, to be on the same page as somebody else. But if we're looking at it as a single problem, that first looking to see what is the box, or your
I think you okay. Let's go with our example. So the
Okay.
box is not the woods.
let's say yes, yeah, okay.
The box is not the woods.
the
The woods is the page, and the box is what you're using to apply to that page.
For me, the box is the
Wow.
circle of expectation.
Okay.
I was translating
which
box
is the
to
page.
circle,
Oh, I see.
which is not necessarily the page, it's the box.
Yeah, you like my box is too small for what you're thinking of.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
My point
No, I
simply
actually think
is
that we have-
that I think there's a time and place to think in the box and to think outside the box. And depending on the context, it's always different. But box. We just keep saying box. Box, 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 box. 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 Let's take a look at the chat and see what these guys have to say. You got this. Experience narrow down the possibility for discovery if not constantly challenged. That is very well put, Mr. Marcus.
And even if it is constantly challenged, because you're challenged, like if you're coming in with a new idea and somebody has experiences of how this page or this box works, excuse me, they're going to say you can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
It can't be done.
Right, because
Until
their box has been defined.
You do it.
Right. Until you can open up their circle of expectation, because they've defined that circle and they haven't been challenged.
And
so
very
that's
often you have to prove that it can be done.
Yeah. 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 That's why shoot first and ask questions later. It's better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. Would you rather regret the things you have done or the things you haven't done?
You should be the solution, not the resolution.
If you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the precipitant. Okay.
Nice. Greater Weft Gruve.
Great Visigood. Oh, another bot. Hey.
And a bot person.
Hello, bot person. Let's bring Schrödinger into the discussion. It's thinking outside the box, not thinking out the box. I like it. And all of his cats. We actually don't know how many. Looks like this one. Yes, yes, yes. Or philosophical. Yes, given the amount of alcoholic moon. Yes, philosophical slurp to get outside your box. You should always be slurping the box. The page is 2D. The box is 3D. Told you. Upgrade your box. Get out of your box. I'm living in a box. I'm living in a cardboard box. I'm living in a box.
Are we living in a box? That's how it
Are we
goes.
living in a box? Are we living in a cardboard box?
Who did that song?
Living in a box.
Is it
Are we living in a box? Are we living in a
DeBarge?
cardboard box? No. Are we living in a box?
Okay, it was an 80s band.
It was an 80s band.
It was
Are we
one of those
living in a
horrible 80s
cardboard
bands that got
box?
played a lot.
Yeah.
But I never liked them.
So, what do you think? I think we did a pretty good job with In the Box, unless there's anything you really need to get off your chest.
Well, do you ever get caught where you're where people around you
Yeah.
are thinking more innovatively about something
Oh, yeah.
than you are?
Well, it's about curiosity, right? So if you're curious about the box or about somebody else's page, then you're going to be open to what their thing is. So if we...
Right, yeah, I think
it's always about curiosity. Are you curious about the box? Are you curious about the page? Are we curious to find a new thing? Are we happy with the way this is going? Do we have to think outside the box right now? Or can we
Yeah.
just stick with the box?
I guess there are a lot of situations where you don't have to think outside the box because the solution or the situation that you have kind of works.
Yeah.
And there might be other solutions out there, not necessarily better ones, or ones that you need to adopt.
That's right.
Like there could even be better solutions out there that you don't need to adopt because it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, sure.
Like I don't need to start doing things with my left hand that my right hand can do.
Sounds like a teenager trying to convince himself that he should stay true to Rosie Palm and her 5 sisters. Curiosity killed the cat, says Monica, and satisfaction brought her back. And my mom always used to say that.
Really?
Curiosity
Did you have a
killed the
cat
cat.
called Satisfaction?
No. I can't get no satisfaction.
Well, that would be a good name for cat food. I saw a video the guy posted. It's like how to call a cat. Fastest solution, and it's a 15-second video or something like that, right? So he opens the kitchen door and he goes, "Yeah, kitty, 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 kitty." No cat.
Yeah.
He puts down the cat's plate
Yeah.
and opens a can of food.
Vroom.
And then he turns around and the cat's there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. Is it catsafaction? I can't get no catsafaction.
When yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
That's my
Riding in my car. This
is my
is
Mick Jagger
your
right now.
Mick Jagger thing?
Yeah.
Where's all the self-inflicted scratches, man? Come on. Yeah.
Stop me up.
I think Mick imagined himself in a tutu when he was doing all those. Like, you said, who gets
right.
to find the box? Wow.
Who watches The Watchmen?
But I like the
Who
way
defines the box?
Pretty Girl's like, she posted a box.
Yeah.
Nice. Amazon.
Amazon gets to define the box.
So, have you read about these Amazon Amazon apparently has places where they collect thousands of articles that have not been delivered or not been collected. And you can go and you can buy them on a pallet by the kilo.
Right.
Have you heard about this?
I have not heard about
I
this.
think it's $12.60 per kilo at the moment. So you can drive out to some Amazon depot
Right.
and buy a pallet. It's like a 150 kilo pallet. And it's €12.60 per kilo or something, or €12.60 per 100 kilos. I can't remember exactly what it is. And you can just buy a pallet of stuff. You don't know what's on the pallet.
Right.
Would you do
Mystery
that?
box.
Would you do that? A mystery box?
You want to go in on a mystery box?
Lucky dip.
Well, with your experience and fortitude and apparent magical skills with Willhaben, shit yeah. Because if we don't like the stuff, we'll just get burps. We'll get rid of it.
Or sell it.
That's what I'm saying.
Give it to my wife to sell because she's
Boom.
she's got magic
She's
Willhaben
got
fingers.
the magic Willhaben
Yeah.
fingers.
You know what she said today?
What did she say today?
So I said, "Did you post that office furniture?" And she's like, "I posted that in the elevator on the way down." That's how cool my wife is.
4 snaps in a Z formation. Yeah.
Okay, we're done.
I think we are.
Have we done this?
We have done this.
Cool.
So we're going to close down chapter 1.
Factoided?
Who got factoided? You cannot get forgiveness from a dead person. Factoided. Yeah. Thank you all. We're moving on to chapter 2. Boom. So, Uncle Mike, what's chapter 2 all about? On is money important to you?
I was coming home from a job
Okay.
and I was thinking, would I want to be one of those people on YouTube who sell stuff? Oh, and I was thinking about being a door-to-door salesman because that's something that I've done.
Right.
And I think it's one of the most horrible things to do is do something that you know is detrimental to the person you're doing it to for money. So that's like
Yeah.
it's I guess salesman, insurance salesman, influencers, I guess, to an extent. Lots of these, like if you go on YouTube, every other advert is about how to make money quick.
Okay.
And most of these things are about scamming somehow.
Yeah. There's some sort of.
And so what I found
Okay.
interesting is, what are you prepared to do for money?
Okay.
Like, is money the most important thing?
Are we talking about your personal values right now?
I guess so.
And where does that come? Oh, that's a weird exercise. We should do that exercise. I'm sure there's like one of those tests to find out, your 5 personal values to see where that lines up. Because right now, is money important? How important is money to you?
Well, so this is the question.
Is what our chapter is about.
Is it so important that you'd be prepared to do anything?
Okay, well, that's a very interesting question. So, is that our question to the chat? Because some folks have already said, yeah, we've got our Ethan, who of course, is into Bitcoin and says it's essential. Money, and yes, it serves a purpose, but that's not really what we're talking at the moment. When we're talking about how important is money to you, it's more like, what will you sacrifice in order to get it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. How high up the ladder is money for you, and how much are you willing to sacrifice for it?
Or how little joy are you willing to endure?
Sure.
In order to get a lot of money for it?
Yeah. Okay. So you opened up a lot of boxes.
Sure.
In that
Yeah,
intro,
I know.
and there's a whole lot of boxes because we've talked as Marcus is saying.
This question could have been a little bit more specific.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
So let me help you. Help me help you. Marcus is saying he's a salesman, but with a moral compass. So yes. So do we want to focus on that aspect, or do we want to? I think it's more fruitful to get to this idea of how important is money to you. What are you willing to do for it? So I'm going to answer it like this. Growing up, I grew up in a family that didn't have a lot of money, and money has always been a tool. But it's a tool that I've never been comfortable with. I have a theory, it's sort of in the genes of people, and it has to do somewhere along the line. You get that click in your brain. But there are some people that don't care about zeros. They don't care about how many zeros are at the end of that number. It doesn't matter to them. It matters.
Because they're only used to there being a lot of zeros there.
Perhaps. So, for example, I met somebody like this. He was the father of a friend of mine. She, a very talented and very successful Visagisten, a makeup artist. And she grew up with her dad. Her mom died quite early, and she grew up with her dad and her brother, and her dad was one of these dudes that would have a thing going. So there would be one year where they would all live in a very tiny apartment in one room, and then the next year he was selling art or antique cars, and he would make literally millions. Then they would be living in this huge apartment or a house, and then the next year they'd be back somewhere else because he lost it all, because he did not care about the zeros. They did not matter to him. For me, because I never had money, the zeros always mattered, right?
Right.
There was a time in my life where...
Okay, but this is interesting.
Okay.
And we'll get back to what the time in your life was.
Great.
But do you remember where that father came from? Like, did he come from money?
I don't know, and this is what I mean. I don't think he did. I mean, I don't remember. I don't remember what his deal was. I just knew about his thing through her relationship to him. But what I mean by that is, and I met several people like that. There are people that love to watch the number in the Konto go up.
Yeah.
They love it. They love it. I've got a couple of friends that are just super into that, and they love watching it go up. It's nothing that really ever interested me. It was never a part of my life.
Yeah, but this guy is more about the scheme. He's like finding a scheme that's going to make him a lot of money, like the guy you were talking about.
Yeah, because he doesn't care about the zeros. So he could lose if it's $200 or if it's 200,000. He didn't care. It was
because there's always a new scheme that he can come up with.
I suppose so.
Or get on top of,
but he was
to make money
immune
again.
to that Fallhöhe. He was immune to that
fear of losing it.
To the fear of what happens when you are completely skint, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I've been pretty skint a lot of times in my life, and I kind of consigned myself to the fact that I was never going to have a lot of money. And if that ever were to happen in my life, grand, but I am not counting on it. People used to ask me, Jim, what's your Altersvorsorge? You know, what's that? What are your retirement plans? You know, how are you going to finance your retirement? My answer has been, since people started asking me that, a combination of the youth of my girlfriend and the largesse of my ex-girlfriend.
It's a pretty good plan.
Yeah, it's not a very good plan, but it's mine, and I'm sticking to it.
You're thinking outside the box.
I am so thinking outside the box. Jim will always be the grasshopper. Yeah. So we've had that mentioned before.
But have I said this to you?
What's that?
That you could apply, and I've been considering this.
Okay.
You and I could both go and apply for early retirement.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
And my thinking here is,
Yeah.
if we apply for early retirement, obviously you get less pension,
Right.
but you do get it.
So gambling.
By the time you and I reach pensionable age, there
It's all
might
gonna
be
be
no
gone.
pensions left.
It's all going to be gone.
So maybe
Yeah.
it's a good idea to go and get that pension now.
Well, you know, I have always, in my entire life, always been disappointed by all big edifices of financialness, or I've never had an insurance thing work my way. One time, and it wasn't my insurance. I've never had, you know, luck with subventionen, or there's always been
That's
a
not
way.
quite true. We got 20 grand for that one English Lovers show.
One time, once.
And we did an awesome show for it.
It was amazing,
it was
and we got a
big.
prize afterwards.
They got their money's worth.
Yeah, and then they decided, well, that was it. We got our money's worth.
It was like, they won a prize. We can never give them money again.
You don't need any more money. Obviously,
It
we
was
got
like
our
way
money's worth.
too good. That production was way too good.
It really was.
Cheers.
Slurp. I'm not sure how to fold the idea of making money important into my life. That's the thing. I'm not interested in numbers. I like money as a tool. When I have it, I spend it freely. When I don't have it, I spend it freely. It's for me a means to an end. However, that said, I am not immune to it. In fact, it is something that worries me because I'm not a fiend to it. And so I am a bit afraid of money. I know what happens when you don't have it, but I also don't have that it's never, no, it has been bad enough. I guess it just means it's not important to me, or not as important as friends of mine who love to watch the number go up.
But are these friends of yours who love to watch the number go up
Yeah.
willing to do anything to get that money?
No, I don't think.
I think there's a big difference to being
Maybe.
to being extremely focused on a financial success in the realm that you've chosen. Okay, so you want to be an actor.
Yeah.
You want to be a financially successful actor.
Yeah.
So there's ways of doing that, and there's ways of applying yourself to making that happen.
Yeah.
But lots of the things that you might have to do as a financially successful actor might not be as intellectually or artistically satisfying.
So I got to
Right?
think.
So
Absolutely.
This is the thing. Are you willing to cross the line to doing
Right.
things that you do not find artistically satisfying just to fill the bank account?
I have a very good answer for this. So I believe that every artist has, again, my dichotomy things. So I think there are two aspects to every job. One is experience. Am I going to learn something? The art of it. And then the financial side. Am I going to earn something from this? How commercial it is. It's a little bit of art and commerce. Commerce needs art, Art needs commerce. They have to go together. And so, if a job is, say, super high, I'm going to learn a whole bunch of stuff, explore, and be really awesome, but there's not a lot of money, I'm going to probably try to do that job. If it's not learning very much, but it's a ton of money, I'm probably going to do that job because it's going to pay for this job. If it's like this, hell yeah. If it's like this, no. The problem is that most jobs are somewhere around here.
Yeah, but there are also those jobs where I think everything that you explained now is kind of artistically or intellectually within what you are.
For you deciding whether you're going to do a job. That's how I'm looking at it. Yeah.
But like there are jobs that pay well but are not particularly interesting. Okay? But there are jobs that pay well, but you feel like you're giving up a little bit of your soul when you do them. It's not the same as a job that is just easy or you don't really care about it.
Yeah, I don't think I've had a job where I've had to give up my soul for a while. There was a time, before 1999, and a little bit of time everywhere.
Like it's 1999.
I'm calling it 1999 because here's my theory. 1999 was the year that selling out died. After 1999, the idea of selling out, of selling your soul, of sucking the corporate cock, of doing something
just
commercial.
What you do.
If you're an artist, then you don't do that. You're a sellout if you do. I believe in 1999 that died, and it took a couple of years for it to catch up everywhere, but that was the year that it actually died. And since then, I don't think I've ever come into a quandary morally or feeling like I'm selling my soul. Because I get to pick and choose, If the FPÖ calls me up and says, will you do a voiceover? Fuck no. No. And so...
Yeah, but that's exactly what I mean. So if the FPÖ called you up and said, we want you to be our international voice, here's $1 million to do that Europe-wide.
Yeah. How far do you go? Yeah. What's your price? Every man.
If the union of right-wing parties in the EU government came to you and said, Jim Libby, we need a voice to do all of our advertising and all of our stuff.
Yeah.
Here's, we're gonna put you on a retainer for the next 10 years. It's gonna be 100,000 euros a year. Would you do that? Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
You'd never work again in anything that you enjoy.
Well, yeah. That's that classic.
So that's kind of the thing.
Yeah.
But if you do it for 10 years, you've got $1 million.
Yeah. What was that movie with Demi Moore and Robert Redford?
Oh.
An Indecent Proposal.
Indecent Proposal.
Yeah.
Like that.
Those are tough questions. Like, you have to choose, Michael.
You see, this is the reason why I'm in favor of human beings not having fingernails. Because you've got sharp fingernails and they poke.
My fingernails are gorgeous. What are you talking about?
Ow!
You are such a baby.
Ow! Ow!
So, you have to choose one, Michael. Never performing again.
Yeah.
Or never having sex again. Never doing anything artistic again, or never having sex again.
I refuse to be part of this box.
Right? That's a tough one. I saw your brain shut down. Because for me, it's kind of the same thing.
I couldn't choose.
Because I'm going to fuck your mind. Sorry, I was on my whole tangent. I was on my whole thing there.
But would you rather lose an eye or a hand?
Yeah. That's not what we're talking about because I'm trying to get back to this moral thing. But whatever. All right, Michael. Do you have a price? Is there an amount of money for you to work for? Yeah.
I think I don't have a price.
Yeah.
Because like if somebody came to me and said, okay, so like this right-wing European party's idea, right?
Yeah.
So basically, that's signing your own death certificate as an artist.
Yeah.
But you'd get all that money.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do with that money? I mean, we've spoken about what would I do if I won the lottery.
Right.
And one of the things that was on my list for what I would do with the lottery is build a studio and just make music.
Yeah.
I just make art. I just
It's
use the
dream.
money.
It's the dream to be your own patron.
To be my own patron and my own producer.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't be able to do that. So there's no point in having the money. Because what am I going to do with the money if I'm not going to live my dreams?
So if the far right wing would set you up for that, would you go all in, do it one time, and then get out? Never,
No, I wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't.
No.
Because there'd be nowhere to go with. It's like having a free pass, but there's nowhere to go.
So do you suppose all of those folks that you see spouting racist bullshit or underhanded fucking sexist fucking blah, 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 the folks that seem to have politically sold their souls just for their 15 minutes of fame, do you suppose they care? They would be the opposite of you. Or do you think they just say
this is very interesting. I think those people fall into that classification of people who want the money and don't care what they need to do for the money.
Right.
And there are definitely people like that.
Right.
Like there's people who are willing to sell their own soul and other people, like sell out other people if they can get the money. If they can get their mouths on the teat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see what the chat has to say about this.
Phew. Deep one. Michael. Uncle Mike coming with the deep question this time around.
There's someone here who's new.
Rihad Sneaks. I wonder who Rihad Sneakson is. Hi. I'm not sure who Rihad Sneaks.
This Sneaky Richard.
Sneaks. Sneaky Richard. Sneaks. Rihad Sneaks. I'm sure I know who this is, but hi. I'm not sure who you are yet, but hi. And
How much watch the number go down, then you can buy more
Bitcoin. Yeah.
Ethan Pelletier.
Ethan's into the Bitcoin.
He is.
It's the same with ETFs. What's an ETF? Is that like an NFT? Or is it like an MIC? Or a KEY? Or an MOUSE?
Can we talk about NFCs for a moment?
You mean NFTs?
NFTs?
No.
Non-fungible tokens.
No, I do not want to talk about that.
Wait.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's a ridiculous
I am
concept.
not talking about it.
I'm
right
going to
now.
sell you.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm going to sell you a photograph of my pinky.
Yeah. We're talking about
For 100 million euros.
Okay.
And you'll be able to.
But you're not going to sell me the. No, that's not. No, Michael. We are not talking about this now.
Crazy.
No, there's too much. No. Thank you, Nayla. I'm not sure what I said, but I'm glad you know it's true. Dollar cost.
So nice to have Nayla on the show. We've been I've been mailing back and forth with Nayla for weeks about having her on the show. Yeah. I'm so glad that she finally made it.
I need to. Yeah, she's a good one. We're a big fan of that one.
Homo economic. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the Homo economicus view? I wish I knew what that meant.
I think it has.
They're talking about
about.
macroeconomics here. Mm-hmm. No matter what they pay, it's important that they pay.
Yes, it is true to get, but getting paid for what you do is just,
a whole nother.
Is just a reasonable demand.
It's a whole nother.
It's not the same as selling yourself out, which is kind of what this question was about. It's
sure.
Like, how important is money? How far are you willing to go to get the money?
Another clue that I have about me not having money be important or me not wanting to fold it into my life is just recently I'm working with this company trying to get a thing together to do a long-term project for them. And they were asking for a a Kostenvorschlag, an estimate, a price list of what it should be. And I came up with this thing and I sent it to them, and then they replied, but they replied in a way that when I read it, it made me mad. It pissed me off. I was like, why would they say that? This is obviously ridiculous. And on top of that, why would you just do that without offering something else as an alternative? Then had the opportunity to talk to two people who are very good businesswomen, very experienced.
But they're more experienced than the people you're dealing with.
Perhaps.
I wager.
Perhaps. But my point is that they had a whole different attitude toward it. Because of that whole thing, they were far less emotional. They were far more perfunctory about it. It was way more just, this is all neutral. And it's just, this, what you're reading is not what they're saying. And we were definitely not on the same page.
Yeah.
And then when they read it to me the way they were reading it, I was like, okay, yeah, I can understand that.
It is also annoying because you realize that the people who you're dealing with haven't actually thought about what they're actually demanding of you.
Now, that is something else, absolutely, and whether their choices are good ones, informed or not, I don't care.
Yeah.
My point is, I don't want to deal with that. It's obviously, it's just a cat and dog thing, and I think I'm just starting to invent agents. What we need is somebody who is good with numbers, but has patience with somebody like me. But they can also talk to people like that. Who or what?
So for 15% of your total, I'll
Dudes,
deal with this. I will deal with this.
This is not so stupid. But that's a whole nother conversation. I don't want to talk about it anymore. What else we got going?
I think we've actually
here?
spoken about being each other's agents.
Being each other's agents.
There's less emotion involved.
Verena,
so I think this is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
You've got three things. Does it pay well? Is it valuable artistically? And will it further your career? And if two line up, you should do it.
Right.
And might not actually be a bad idea.
Yeah. It's the furthering your career part.
Which is kind of like, is it artistically valuable?
Yeah, I suppose.
But
not true. It's a very separate, that is a very, doing things that will further your career.
He's shaking his head.
I tell you, sir, I must protest. This is an infamous in India. My jowls have been shaken.
What are you trying to do?
What the hell's going on here?
No, furthering your career is very different from being artistically valuable, because there's plenty of artistically valuable things that no one will ever care about. Kind of like improvised theater.
Even if you get prizes and funding. Yeah. Moving on.
Okay. What else do we have here?
Why is the right wing the opposite of freedom?
That's a silly question.
We should ask the right wing that.
Yeah. I don't think it... What? Is that a loaded question? Or is that a reactionary question? Did one of us say that? No. I think Ethan... Well, I don't know. Maybe... What do you got, Ethan? I don't know. ETF is exchange-traded fund, like by... Okay. Thank you very much. As the...
Like buying NASDAQ.
Yeah. Ethan, by the by, to toot Ethan's horn for a second, he just got a gig with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States of America.
Wow.
It's a really nice place for somebody who's studying law to spend a lot of time doing a lot of work for no money.
For no money?
Well, yeah, because it's an internship. Or do you get money for it? Or is it just exposure? Because in the artist world,
going to further your career.
Exposure.
It's everything.
Oh, exposure. Exposure.
I'm overexposed at this point.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Man, this thing is mucking with me. No means no. Respect Jim. Thank you, Mocha. No means no. Respect the gym. Excellent shutdown.
Yeah.
Here,
well,
I'll have some cake, maybe it's a cookie. Just reminded me of some of the economic psych tests I did a couple of years ago about people making irrational choices concerning money because of emotions. I totally get that.
Yeah.
I totally get that. You know, there's all those weird cognitive biases that we have, sunken cost fallacy, unter anderem. And I totally get that. The more you learn about it, the more you can try to fight against it. But And it was funny because the ladies last night, they were like, well, obviously you have got some issues that you need to deal with. What are they, how are you being hurt by this email? And I remember saying, I'm being hurt because it seems it's disrespectful because basically I'm giving you a Mengenrabatt and you're saying, great, we love the Rabatt, we just don't want to do the Mengen.
Yeah.
And then not give me anything else. And so I'm like, well, fuck you. And they're like, well, you obviously have some unresolved issues, and is it because your feelings as an artist? And that was the only funny thing. I was just like, okay, slow down, because they come from a business world, and so they just assume artists are all just one raw nerve, and you know.
But I think
lightning rods
this
of emotion.
particular problem is something that I've dealt with several times before, and it actually has to do with the client actually not
being clear about what they want.
They're not clear about what they want, and they're not clear about what it's going to cost if they want it.
Or Jesus, you know, the clients that you have to teach them how to do business.
Yeah. Well, this is okay. So we're backtracking here, but this is something that is interesting because I've noticed that Europeans don't like to haggle.
Oh, Marcus says prices get negotiated. You need a manager, Jim.
Well, there's very, very little negotiation that goes on in Europe. I think it's not a very European thing to do.
It really isn't.
I will get a call and a client will say, so we want to do this series of videos and it's going to be like 4 days work and we want you to do this and this preparation, we do this, maybe check out the text, maybe write part of the text, whatever.
Sure.
And then I'll quote them something.
Yeah.
And obviously, and my quote is what I want to earn, not what they want to pay.
Yeah. Of
because
course.
I don't care what they want to pay.
Yeah.
I only care about
you
what
have
I
your
want to
price,
earn. Right? So, and then they'll come back and say, "What are you thinking? That's way too expensive. We can't afford that." And I'll be like, "Well, give me a counter offer. What are you getting annoyed about? You know?"
Or
I'm not here to
go down the street and get somebody else.
I'm not here to think for you, right? Or you will think about it. I'll think about it and think, okay, so who is this client? How much money do they have? What are they expecting to pay? And I'll put a whole lot of thought into it, and I'll make them an offer, and then I won't hear back from you.
Yeah, exactly.
They won't even give you the courtesy of writing back and saying, that's way more than we were expecting to pay. This is what we can afford. Would you still do it?
Okay, Michael.
They won't even come back to you that way. Right?
Michael.
That's how badly
we hate
negotiate.
them. I want to get you back to the thing about that you've been a professional voiceover artist for 30 years. About
20.
Let's call it 20 years. All right. You've been doing this for 20 years. Have you ever had an agent as a voiceover artist?
Well, the thing is...
Have you? Answer the question. No, you haven't.
No.
Now, if we were to go to London, they would laugh you out of the room. When I talk to colleagues in England, for example, they're just like, they're always laughing and they beschmunzeln mich a little and saying things like, Jesus, it's really kind of like the Wild West down there for you guys, isn't it? You know, I mean, it's because it's crazy. It's crazy. The Austrian market is at the same time too small and too big. There is absolutely no reason that you and I should be making those thoughts, and I'm sorry, I cannot even think about that it makes me crazy. And perhaps this is something I need to get over, and I'm sure it is, but if I could find somebody to do it, I would much rather pay that person to do it because they're kick-ass at that. I want to work with people who are really good at what they do, and I want to be really good at what I do. I'm not very good at that, but if you are, then you do it.
You've answered the question. The Austrian market's too small for that.
Yeah.
So nobody who is really good at that job would be able to live from doing that in Austria.
But
because there's not enough work to go round.
I suppose you're right.
Which is why people doing voiceovers in the UK have agents, because if you record something in the UK, it goes international. It's UK, it's all of the Commonwealth states, other states. You're talking to like 150 million
Yeah.
customers, right? In Austria, you've got 8 million. That's it. Which is why they also get paid way more than we do.
I think this is.
But I would be your agent.
I think this is
I would take 15 to 25% to be your agent.
I think
and
this-
you could be mine in return.
Well, we'll talk about that again another time. I want to say hello quickly to Nayla, who was asking something really important. Nayla was asking, why does this thing mess up all the time? She was asking, where can I leave my money for tonight's Is Best? Yeah, we want all your money for tonight's Is Best.
We do.
Well, there's an answer to that, and we're going to do it now. I'm calling it on Chapter 2, and we're moving on. This is going to be our commercial where Nayla will get an answer to her
we're done.
question.
Well done, Nayla. First time on the show, getting right to the money.
Love it. And we're back.
We are back.
So, thank you, Nayla. I'm glad you found it. Anyone out there who would like to support the show, there is a link to our PayPal. It's in the description, and you can just head over there. If you do, and you feel like you want to put a little milk in our bowl, please send us your postal address, because we will send you a lovely bunch of stickers straight from the Izbaz studios here in Vienna, Austria.
Izbaz HQ.
Izbaz HQ!
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very grateful.
There are no example stickers to show you. We could do this.
Speaking of Izbaz
Stickers,
HQ, you can check that out as well. That's our funky Facebook group. But we'll talk more about that a little later, I suppose. No, maybe we won't. That's all there is to know. Go to Facebook. It's called Izbaz HQ.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. You can check out stuff there.
So while you're on PayPal, you can just leave your address there in a message.
That's
to
what we
us.
mean. Yeah. If you're going to drop something in the PayPal, make sure you give us your postal address.
So yeah, Geiz's guy mentality. And I think there are certain things that people don't like paying for, and lots of art falls into that category.
Yeah, because people don't understand it. It's so beyond the pale. I remember a long time ago, I drove with 10 dancers to the outskirts of Austria, like way deep in Vorarlberg territory, like way on the
Did you
tip
know
of
that
the.
it's further to Vorarlberg than it is to Ukraine?
Yeah. It's crazy. And we drove all this way. We get to this place, and it is like the Vorarlberg. It was the Miss Austria contest. This is like in the late 90s, or around the Jahrhundertwende. And we go out there, and we got this gig where I was directing this sort of, I don't know, Einlage. It was the show tile, the show event tile of the Miss Austria contest. And they were like, we want to pay this much, and I was like, it is clear that you've got 10 people you're paying for, plus the direction, plus the lights. Now you've also got to pay for the days that they're rehearsing. We have to pay for the choreographer, because there's 10 dancers. They have to rehearse those days. There's a lot behind it. And they're looking at you like, well, you're just showing up and doing it.
Yeah. So we'll pay you $500.
Yeah. And they just
like,
have no idea. And this is what I meant about.
Here's my bill for $35,000.
Exactly. This is what I meant by you're actually teaching people how your business works.
Yeah.
Anyway, we finished that chapter.
But unfortunately for our business,
Yeah.
there are people who will turn up and do it for $500.
Yeah. But that's a whole nother thing. I mean, you get it. Producers want to get shit cheap, as cheap as they can to make their budget go as far as they can. Actors want to get paid well for their...
Nothing wrong with that.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And actors want to, performers want to get paid well for their art.
But as a producer wants to get it as cheaply as possible, you have to know what it is you're actually getting.
Absolutely.
And what the best price would be.
Yeah. And because the producers are the ones with the money, and because of that lange Ast and la 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 la, that's why we have unions, and that's why we have lists, and that's why you have Mindus things, and then if you go below that, you're scum. Sorry, that was really hard.
Real chicken tender. I totally agree. Like, everybody can be a photographer these days. Like, everybody can be a journalist these days. And it's a real problem. I absolutely agree, yeah. Like, you can get anything, and if you don't care about quality, yeah. Moving on, chapter 3.
Let's move on to chapter 3.
This is a really perplexing topic because this is not my topic.
What? It is your topic.
No, this is your topic.
No,
this is your topic.
No, this is not my topic.
This is Jim's topic.
No,
that I found in the list of topics.
It was your topic
No,
from the beginning.
it was never my topic.
No,
Never ever
Michael, zero.
How long are you gonna keep going on? Can we do this for 5 minutes?
I think
and
maybe.
see if we can just fill up airtime.
This was like, this is from way back in the beginning when you and I just started It Should Be About Something, and we were making a list of like questions that we could have. And this was like one of the few that you put in there. And I remember thinking every time I read it, I was like, what the fuck is he on about with this one? I don't know. And then I secretly started to harbor the hope that you had some crazy South African penguin connection.
Right.
And I started to get excited about it. And now, as the chapter comes up, as we do this, and yes, I'm talking through this, as we do this, and it comes to us, and you look at me, and in all seriousness say, this was Jim's topic.
It was Jim's topic.
Fucking bullshit.
It was.
No way.
Yeah. No, way back when you put this in there, I was like, that's a silly topic. Why would you want to do that? And you were like, I'm just putting it out there to see what happens. So, we're putting it out there to see what happens.
Okay.
Just to strike things off the list. I think there's a deep philosophical question here.
Great. Well, you chose it wherever this question came from will be lost.
Came from Jim.
Came from Michael. So, what is your take on it? Why did you choose it for episode 61?
There's 2 ways you can go with this.
Okay.
So
I want to hear both.
Okay, so as somebody who's prepared to eat basically any animal on the planet,
You being an omnivore.
I thought a little bit about which of the penguins that I would like to eat. Do I find penguins? Do they look scrumptious?
All right. You say there are 2 ways we want to think about this question. So the first one
Is there a real live penguin living in your freezer?
Okay.
Or do you come home and there's like a frozen penguin in your freezer and you could cook the fucker?
Right. So it's either it's Schrodinger's penguin. You open up the fridge.
It's the penguin live or dead.
And it's either a live penguin or it's a dead penguin.
Well, it could be a live penguin and you kill it and eat it.
But it's either alive or it's dead when you open the fridge.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well then, let's go with the dead penguin. You open up the fridge, and much like I would do when I was a child and my grandma was still alive and we would go to her house and I would open up her fridge, which was always full.
Did it open this way? Or
packed.
Was it a left-hand fridge or was it?
It was from the left to the right, and it was always packed to the gills, and there was often a cow's tongue in there, which as a kid would, freak me out. So this is how I'm imagining it. Roll with me, Michael. I'm opening up the fridge. You're opening up the fridge. Come on, open the fridge up. There's a bunch of penguin meat. It's obviously labeled penguin meat. What do you do?
I think I would make goulash out of penguin. I think penguin is ideal meat for goulash. Like everything I've read about Antarctic survival,
Yes.
penguins don't taste very nice.
No, I can't imagine they would.
And they're also very greasy, very oily birds.
I mean, they look so flat in their tuxedos.
They apparently
But they're very
don't taste
greasy birds.
They don't taste very, very yummy. It's like if you could get seal, you'd prefer seal. Penguin, not so much.
Yeah.
But they're easy to catch, apparently. Easy to catch, easy to hunt, because you're hunting and catching them on top of the ice shelf, where they are not particularly agile.
No, they are not.
So
Because they fly underwater.
That's right. They fly. They're very, very graceful underwater.
Absolutely.
On top of the water, they're more like, put them in the pot.
Kind of like the dodo. Like that's why the dodos died away.
The
right?
dodos died out. If it weren't so
Well,
cold.
they did not die out. The dodos did not die out. They were killed.
They were hunted to extinction.
They
yes.
were hunted to extinction.
So if Antarctica
Yeah.
and the places, well, no, Antarctica. If Antarctica
Yeah.
were not so cold,
Yeah.
and penguins didn't taste so bad, there would be no penguins left.
Yeah, I agree. So, have you ever seen a penguin live in the wild?
Yes.
Cool. Were you on a beach with it?
Yes.
Could you touch it?
Yes.
Was it stinky there?
Super stinky.
And was it incredibly loud?
No.
Was it one of those tours where you went to go see a penguin colony?
No.
Uh-huh. Was it one of those?
Well, kinda. Both worlds.
Right.
So I've been to a penguin colony.
Yeah.
There's a particular type of South African penguin that lives on the coast of South Africa.
Yeah.
And they just live there. Like there are nature's like sanctuaries where
They congregate.
just the penguins. But I've been to beaches. Like I've been standing on a beach.
Had a penguin.
And a penguin just and like a wave comes in and there's a penguin surfing it.
Love
and
it.
it's just like,
Yeah.
g'day, and just like walks
Right.
off into the bush.
Right.
So
cool.
That's kind
So
of happened
cute.
to me.
So cute.
Yeah.
'Cause they're so well dressed.
They're super cute.
Yeah.
Not so big.
Did one ever come up to you like with like a little tiny white napkin folded over one of its flippers?
said,
And then
What would you like today?
can I help you, sir?
No.
Can I help you?
No. Never.
Okay. If I were to open the fridge and I were to see clearly labeled a bunch of packages that say fresh penguin meat, I'd be super into it. Because as like you, I'm willing to try anything once, twice, if it doesn't kill me. Shout out to Mr. Perkins. I'll eat that.
No.
Yeah, I suppose I'd eat that. I'd eat a penguin. I've heard that they're greasy though, and don't taste very good.
You've heard this from me.
Yeah. Is there a place in South Africa where you can eat penguin?
No, you can't. Like you can eat virtually every animal in South Africa
Yeah.
that is wild and endemic,
Yeah.
except penguins. Penguins are they're
Not on the list.
They're not on the edibles list, but not because they're not edible.
Right.
I guess you could eat them, and
Right.
I'm sure that they've been eaten in the past
Right.
because they're easy to catch.
Yeah, sure.
But they're on the endangered list, so you can't eat them.
Okay. All right. So
But
let's
you can
go.
eat crocodile.
Sure. Alligator. I've had alligator.
Crocodiles.
I haven't had crocodile. They don't have
not
no.
bad.
I've only had alligator in North America.
Okay, there's two parts of the crocodile that you can eat. You can like eat the crocodile, like all the bits, and then there's the tail. The tail is kind of like steak.
Okay.
And everything else you have to make goulash out of.
I
because
see.
It needs to be boiled.
Right. And maybe some shoes. Handbag.
Yeah, you can make shoes and handbags. Hats.
Hats.
Hats with knobs on them.
All right, I want to move to the idea now. You're open up the fridge with me, Michael. Come on, we're opening up the fridge. We open up the fridge. Whoop. There's a live penguin in our fridge, sir. What's going on? What do you do?
Feed it fish.
Yeah, feed it fish. Where do you get the fish?
Down the grocers.
You go down to the grocers?
So if I actually found a live penguin in
Yeah.
my fridge,
Yeah.
I'd keep that fucker.
You would keep it?
Yeah, because although they're super smelly, like they do make yucky poo.
Yeah.
You need to spray those fuckers down twice a day.
Like, do you think you could
And the room they've been
change?
in.
Do you think you could change their diet so that
They only eat fish. They don't eat anything else.
Oh, okay.
only
So that
eat
poop is
raw
always
fish.
going to be smelly.
That poop is always going to be.
It's always going to be smelly.
But it's not just the fact that they're eating raw fish. I mean, seals eat raw fish too.
I bet they have stinky poo.
Yeah, but they always defecate in the ocean.
Right. And
Penguins defecate outside of the ocean.
I
That's
have
the problem.
I have seen a penguin in a zoo farting underwater while swimming.
Right.
Like it's like these two penguins following each other, and they're kind of like going around, and then you see the one penguin fart and the bubbles go, and the one behind is like, whoop, nope, I'm out of here, and turns around and goes the other way.
Remember that game? It was a Nintendo, I think, like early mid '80s. Tank Battle.
Tank battle.
And
Was it the one where you at the arcade where you did this?
No.
Oh.
It was a TV games thing.
Okay, TV game.
and-
Tank battle.
And it was just on the screen. You were driving these tanks around and shooting at each other, but you could lay a landmine.
Mm-hmm.
So if the other tank was driving behind you, you could lay a landmine and it would drive with the landmine. And that kind of reminded me of that.
I see. Yeah. Throwing out the landmine. I want to take a quick look here because Christina, why is this such a bullshit thing? Christina's just going to hug it. If you see a live penguin in your freezer, you're going to hug it. You got to hug it. He's so well dressed. You want to hug it. He's not going to be able to hug back. Not very well. But you can hug it.
And I
they're-
think penguins can hug pretty good.
You think
Look at
penguins-
those flippers?
Yeah, well, they're not going to get around you. They're not going to get
Nah,
around
nah,
you.
they won't.
But they're gonna hang on.
They can get into it.
And real chicken dinner slow. hug. We've been saying that to each other since I've known the real chicken tender. It was this stupid running gag we had years ago. Philly Girl, so Philly Girl is saying that my grandma actually cooked one of those tongues after convincing me if I told you all that you could not say you did not like something if you did not try it. Yeah, well that's where that came from. That's exactly, and I thank Philly Girl for that. You know, you got to try it. You have to try it.
So do you like tongue?
I don't remember. I'm sure at
So
the
you
time
haven't
I was
had
like,
it since.
and maybe I have had tongue since, but it hasn't sparked my memory. I just remember seeing the taste buds, thinking, I cannot eat taste
Were you
buds.
there when your gran skinned the tongue?
No, and I'm sure the tongue. I don't know. I mean, maybe those tongues were raw. I have the feeling a lot of those tongues had been prepared. You know, like you would prepare pastrami. You know, they get boiled and brined, and then you would slice off the tongue and have tongue sandwiches. So maybe Grandma cooked that one. I don't remember her doing it. I just remember thinking, I'm going to get a slice of tongue that is covered in taste buds.
The crazy
I'm
thing
going to
is,
feel taste buds in my mouth.
as someone who's cooked tongue before,
Yes.
when you get the tongue from the butcher's,
Yeah.
it's got all those taste buds on it,
Yeah, it does.
right? And then you boil it,
Yeah.
and then you skin the tongue,
Yeah. And the taste buds come off?
and the taste buds come off,
Yeah.
but there's still little taste buds
No,
underneath
the
the
taste buds
skin.
do not come off then. It's
Still little.
just the skin. No, see, there's
And
little taste buds.
when you skin it off,
Yeah.
there's all these things that go. And where the taste bud was, there's these little spikes in the tongue. Yeah, tongue's weird.
Yeah, it is.
But I'm a fan of it. I like
But
tongue.
I would hug the shit out of a penguin. I'm down with Christina on hugging it. If you open the fridge and there would be a penguin inside, I would consider thinking about my drug habit. Yeah. Well, the classic answer, of course, is, there's a penguin on the telly. Burma! What did you say Burma for? I panicked. Monty Python sketch, that sort of Dadaistic penguin on the telly. Remember that bit?
No.
Okay.
But having said all that, I like penguins. Penguins are my favorite seabird.
The symbol of eternal loyalty in the fridge. Contemporary.
I
The
thought
penguin is a symbol of eternal loyalty?
Not. It's the pelican is the symbol of eternal loyalty.
Really? All right. Nayla, I think both of you need to prove some proofs here. I want to have some evidence brought to bear. The symbol of eternal loyalty, is it
I think it's
penguin
pelican.
or is it pelican? Pelican versus penguin. Pavlov's dog with the random fact. Brigadier Sir Niels Olaf III, the king penguin, is the mascot of the Norwegian King's Guard. That's interesting, that the Norwegians would take something from the opposite end of the earth as the symbol of the King's Guard.
Because Amundsen
Amundsen.
got to the South Pole before Scott.
Double trouble, don't know what that means. Tongue is fantastic, lengua tacos, but yes, preparing a seriously reality check. It totally is. I mean, it like really comes to bear. And those motherfuckers are big. That's a big tongue.
But Marcus knows this.
Do you have a big tongue?
I can touch the tip of my nose with my tongue, but that's as big as it gets.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also because you have a very low rider limousine of a nose. It's easy.
Marcus knows about preparing octopus, and I tell you, preparing octopus is grosser than preparing tongue.
Okay.
Marcus and I have prepared an octopus together.
Yes, I have watched Marcus.
That was one of the grossest things that I've ever prepared. It was super yummy,
It's super yummy.
but preparing the octopus, like going through all those motions, it's tough. It's really tough.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who when sailing, I'm the one they choose to go and cook in bad weather because I'm the one who pukes the least.
Oh yeah, okay.
But that octopus, man, that was an
It's
ordeal
tough.
for my
but
guts.
I will eat octopus any day. You come to me, I'm going to eat the octopus. So if you find a penguin in your freezer, checking your drug habit is probably a good thing. Doing that reality check first. Then, in any case, hug the penguin, because if it's real, you're going to get a great hug. And if it's not real, well, you'll maybe get some Ben and Jerry's in the scoop. And then, once you've hugged it and have decided that you're going to keep it for the rest of your life, figure out if you can start feeding it, raw tuna. Maybe sashimi. Maybe you could feed the penguin sashimi and figure out how to
Very
get that
expensive
cloaca
way.
to not be so stanky.
It's a very expensive way to feed a house pet on sashimi. I can't find it, Neela. I can't find the pelican or the penguin as the symbol of eternal loyalty. I get some funny tattoos.
Yeah. Michael, if you were, do you identify with penguins? Like if you had to get a stuffed animal,
A stuffed animal.
For your house.
Are you talking about an animal prepared?
Not
by
a taxidermied animal.
okay.
I'm just talking about a
Just
nice
a toy.
toy stuffed animal.
What would I get?
What would you get?
I don't know. Tiger. Mm-hmm. Like comic tiger or bunny.
Sure. What about the twins? Do they get two penguins, or do they get a penguin and something else to have a choice? Are we going doubles, or are we going with choice?
Well, I think we've got a giraffe and a pig at the moment.
Interesting. Giraffe and a pig. Good combi. Smart.
Lots
long
of,
necks.
and lots of elephants.
Lots of elephants.
Elephants are really. If you want elephants for your kids, you can have.
Elephants are easy. Elephants are
there's
easy.
lots of elephants out there.
You know what's not? Hedgehogs, hyenas. Finding a stuffed hyena is hard.
This is true.
I'm a big fan of hyenas. Hyenas get a bad rap.
I have been so close to hyenas, and they are super cool.
Hyenas get a bad rap.
They do,
They really do.
and they're cool animals.
They are cool animals.
I saw
If one
two
hyena,
hyenas
yeah,
attack a group of 3 zebras.
okay,
So these 2 hyenas
Yeah.
are like, we're hungry, we don't know what to do, we need to eat some zebra, right? And there's these 3 zebras.
Yeah.
And the hyenas like circle them a couple of times, and then they finally pounce, and the 3 zebras like run off, kind of slowly, kind of jogging away, and this happens a couple of times, till the zebras get pissed off.
Okay.
And the hyenas like attack them for the 3rd or 4th time, and the zebras are like, okay, fuck you guys, and they stampede them. It's just like 3 zebras stampeding 2 hyenas, and the hyenas like running as fast as their little back legs can carry them.
If a hyena gets lost from the herd, from the pride of, I don't know what a bunch of hyenas, what's a bunch of hyenas called?
An embezzlement.
I love those. Do you know what a bunch of flamingos are called?
Oh yeah, it's something to do with preening or looking
It's a
nice.
flamboyance. A flamboyance of flamingos. It's a herd of cattle, a pride of lions, a
Murder of crows.
a murder of crows, a
Gangbang of lovers.
it's a congress of monkeys. It's a bungle of banigans.
It's true.
What do you think? What is it for smooliks? When you get a bunch of smooliks together?
A schmoove.
A schmoo. It's a smooth smooliks. Love it.
A schmahoo.
I can never eat octopus again after watching 2 recent documentaries.
I'm with you, Chicken Tender, and I know which documentary we're talking about. That My Octopus Teacher. That was really that was eye-opening.
Well, I, for one, greet our alien overlords, the octopi, the octopuses.
Here is my plate, please.
Jump onto it.
Jump
I will
onto
eat
it.
you, take you inside of me, and give thanks. Catherine Martinez in the house. Grandma's fridge traumatized me because of the tongue, and I have PTSD in the grocery store when I see it. But it still makes me go, oh, I miss her. Yeah. Pavlov's dog, aren't lovebirds the symbol of eternal love? Well, they ought to be. Maybe Michael and I can be the symbol.
Can we be lovebirds? Can we ever be lovebirds again after everything that's
How
happened
can
between
we
us?
be lovebirds if we can't be friends? I'm not sure if that's a song. Do you remember that song? How can
No,
we
I
be
don't.
lovers if we can't be friends? Who was that? Always bears. Verena is down with the bears.
Yeah, she's just
the bears.
Yeah, she's not prepared to think outside the box.
Well, what? I think bears are good. Teddy bears, come on. The story of the teddy bear is a really interesting story.
Did you see that meme of the bear lying on a picnic table, like sleeping on the picnic table?
Like,
This huge bear.
Yeah.
Sleeping on a picnic table.
okay. Catherine, there's always something interesting there. Pack? Marcus, pack. I'm not sure what that means.
Pack of
Oh, a pack of dogs? A pack of wolves?
pack of
Pack of cigarettes?
no.
A pack
guys
of-
with the short legs.
A pack of hyenas.
A pack of hyenas.
Pack of hyenas. Google says cranes are the symbol of eternal loyalty. Cranes as the symbol of eternal loyalty.
Right.
Like it.
Pack. They have a canine social structure, so
Yeah.
they're pack.
Yeah, yeah. And if a hyena gets lost, it will send out a cry like, will somebody come and find me? And the whole pack will come and try to find them.
They have a funny call.
Yep.
When we were kids,
Yeah.
that's when we were kids. We had that record of animal sounds.
What if there were a bear in your freezer?
I would rejoice because finally I would have the freezer that I've always wanted, big enough to fit a bear.
It's a big freezer. True dat. Good call, Smolik. Big freezer.
And would you eat bear? Would you eat a bear?
I would totally. I would
I-
eat the average bear.
The average bear.
Hey, boo boo.
Yeah.
I will eat the average bear.
Yeah, I think so.
Thanks. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Dude, I think we killed it. I think we figured out what to do if a penguin, who is not the symbol of eternal loyalty, however, very huggable, what we're going to do when that penguin is alive or dead. I think we did it. What do you think? I think this whole show has definitely been about something.
Most of the time.
Most of the
And
time.
I'm very happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah. I think it might, in fact, I mean, I don't want to go out on a limb here, but I'm going to say it right now. This has been the best is Baz ever. Best is Baz ever.
No, it's not going out on a limb. Just saying, it's telling it like it is.
Telling it
It's
like
the
it
truth.
is. Putting it down. Laying it there. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Let's say a quick good night to everybody.
Yeah,
What do you say?
Catherine Martinez has eaten bear drunk. It was delicious. Would not eat it sober. Okay. What else would you not eat sober, Catherine? Maybe this is...
I would not eat it sober. Kind of sounds like Catherine's autobiography.
These are words to live by.
Title of her biography.
Only eat when drunk. Oh, God. Yeah, slow hug.
So let's say goodnight to the slow hug. Slow hug.
You can't really hug it out if you slow hug, can you?
Yeah. And we're going to say goodnight to Verena.
And Catherine.
And Follower of Clay.
And the real chicken tender.
And Marcus.
And Philly girl.
And Pavlov's dog.
And Monica.
And Nayla, yes. And Christina. And Ethan. This is what is that? Richard Sniggs.
Riyad Sneaks.
And I think
that
did
was
we get
it.
I think we got.
Yeah,
Did we
we're
get
good.
everybody?
We got everybody.
I think we got everybody.
Cool. What
If
was
we
that
if we
red
didn't,
thing? Yeah, oh, that was a heart.
that was a heart. If we
Cool.
didn't get you. Thank you so very
Dan
much for
B.
joining us.
Dan B was here.
Oh, Dan B. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you all for joining us. Next week we will not be here. We're taking the week off.
That's true. And the week after that.
We will not be here. We're taking that week off.
Yeah.
2 weeks. We're taking a 2-week break. I know.
We're taking a 2-week sabbatical.
A sabbatical.
Yeah.
I love the word sabbatical. Sabbatical. I'm going on sabbatical.
Because this show is so draining. It's so taxing.
We're actually doing 2 very, very, very cool things. Next week, for those of you who live in Germland, I will be performing with the wonderful Jacob Bannigan, our duo Rocket Sugar Factory. We're going to be playing in Berlin at the Urgestein in Kreuzberg. We will be at the Rateboer Theater on Thursday.
So you're
of
going to
next
be in
week.
a bungle of Bannigans, or you're going to be in a bungle with a Bannigan
I'm
next week.
gonna bungle the Bannigan.
You're going to bungle the Bannigan?
I'm gonna bungle the
Does
Bannigan.
Does he know this?
Oh, Bannigan gets bungled all the time.
Oh, okay.
And I'm very excited because we haven't seen the Bannigan in a while and haven't played with him in a while. So that's going to be really
You
fun.
haven't bungled with him.
I haven't bungled the Bannigan for a while.
And what's happening the week after?
The week after that, you and I are performing with the rest of the English lovers in Vienna's English Theater for a 1-week only
Extravaganza.
of loverness at Vienna's English Theater, and we're super excited for that. That's going to be
It's going to be
exciting
an
as well.
extravagang bonanza.
Extravagant bonanza. Catisfaction. Rock Tiga. So yeah, we're going to be taking the next 2 weeks off, but in the meantime, in those 2 weeks of droughtness, of Thursday to Thursday, please go to the funky Facebook group called Isabaz HQ. There is also a link to that in the description of this video. And if you go there, you're going to meet all kinds of really nice people. They're very supportive. There's all kinds of fun things happening. And so we'd love it to check it out there. And we dip in all the time to say hi and make sure stuff
Like
is...
stuff.
To like it.
To like it.
Love it.
Yep.
Speaking of which, there's some really fun stuff happening just now. I really love Follower of Clay's Soviet sort of iconography.
Soviet-themed Isbaz.
Soviet era iconography.
It should be about something. Why is it not about something?
It should be about something.
Yes.
Yes.
If it were about something, I would like it more.
So thank you all for showing up. Make it to next Thursday, make it to next Thursday, and then make it to the next Thursday. And hopefully we'll see you again. Stay safe, be careful, take care of yourselves, and if you can, somebody else. Do you have anything else we need to say?
Look up there in
In a very dramatic way. Yes, is Soviet.
Very Soviet.
Yes.
So,
We're done.
I think we did it.
Cool.
I think there's only one thing you have to remember. No matter the subject,
Or what it was about,
even if you disagree,
you can always hug it out.
hug it out.
Hug it out.
Everybody, hug it out.
Slow